Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean. I know it has been quite a while since the last time I uploaded anything, and I really don't have any good excuses for why that's happened, but I'll try to make one. As long as I can justify it, I guess that's all that matters, right? Well, here it goes. Here's my feeble attempt. Most of you know, or maybe you don't, I don't know. Well, I recently moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I got this new job, and I've been kind of busy lately. So usually my schedule is I'll be on the road for a week, and usually home by the weekends, and then off a week, and by off I mean not on the road. So I still go into work every day, but there's been a couple times where it's been like 3 or 4 weeks straight. And yes, I'm still home on the weekends, but it's just one of those things when you're gone from home for 5 days and you get home on the weekend, you pretty much, you don't really feel like doing a whole lot. And I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I've been playing Destiny, I've been playing The Division, I've been playing Borderlands 2. So, video games are just, and I'm sure those of you that play video games can understand this. They're just easy, right? You just turn on the power button, boom. There's not a whole lot of mental energy that needs to be expended. There's not a lot of there's not much to do because the game automates everything for you. So I've been sucked into video games lately, and so between work and video games, I haven't been doing a lot of board gaming. Of course, I did do some with Ryan a little bit when he was out here visiting, doing, keeping New Mexico safe from forest fires. And so I played a couple games with him. I really enjoyed, meeting him and having him over to my house and, playing some games and talking about this, that, and life and trying to solve the world's problems, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I decided, it was probably time to get back into Next War again. So here it goes, I guess. So we'll start out with the operational map first. So we'll start big and then we'll kind of get small. And I'm sure I'll forget a lot of things that I wanted to talk about just because I don't really take a whole lot of notes when I play. I'll write things on the plexiglass and that'll be like my only cue. So hopefully I'll be able to remember some of the stuff that I've just recently done. So as you can see here in Lithuania, we've got, our control markers here. So end of turn 1, which I believe a turn in this game is approximately 3 days worth of time. So 3 days the Russians have been able to basically take over Lithuania. If you can get to the capital, which is the flagged area, so like this, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but that place there and this place that begins with a Z, they're part of Lithuania, but they're not the capital. But if you can get ground units in the capital and eliminate all the Lithuanian units in the capital when you roll for clearing operations, if you conduct a successful clearing operation in the capital, then you remove all the Lithuanian units from the game that are on the map, and you also remove all of their reinforcements that are in the reinforcement cups. So basically we have conquered Lithuania. So you can also see that the same has happened to Latvia. So Latvia and Lithuania have been taken over by the Russians. Hey, I didn't say Soviets this time. And then Estonia, they weren't quite as successful. And this is, unfamiliarity with this particular part of the system is right here in the province or county or whatever they call these sections of Narva. I just had a couple of small airborne brigades, air inserted into there. And of course I got a bad clearing marker. 6 is the highest. They go from 3 to 6, 3 being the lowest or the easiest. So if you're conducting clearing operations, you want to see low numbers like a 3. So these airborne units just weren't enough they didn't have enough strength to capture that province. So we've only been able to capture Tartu. We weren't able to get anybody into Estonia. So the Estonians are the only holdout from the Baltic states. And then as you can see, we've got some naval activity here, you know, so we've got these units from Kaliningrad that'll probably move over into Poland here on their next turn. We've got the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, which will enter Poland this next turn. We've got the 173rd, which reinforced in Germany, so the 173rd Airborne. So they'll end up going into Poland when it's their turn. We've got some carrier battle group and an amphibious group with Marines on board, U.S. Marines. And then here we have the tracker that's got, you know, your nuke points, cruise missiles, victory points, blah, blah, blah. As you can see, the Russians have 44 victory points, and the NATO guys have 0 victory points. So we're really getting our butts kicked, or, well, we, as in NATO. There's our Soviet and Belarusian air power. So these guys here in this box will be unable to do anything this turn. So they have basically all that available. And then I need to move these guys to the ready box. So these are U.S. planes, U.S. Navy planes. And then we've got this right here. Oh, one more thing too that I wanted to show you. Here's our, well, not this, but here's our air defense track, AWACS advantage, all that good stuff. But these are the units that were eliminated this turn. So we had more Polish units that were eliminated, but I reconstituted them because I had enough points to do so. And as you can see, the Lithuanians, you know, these large stacks here, these are the ones that were actually in the reinforcement cup. So, and it also goes for the Latvians as well. So the big stack, that's what would have been reinforcements had the capital not been taken over. So that's what's been eliminated this turn. You notice there's no Russian or Belarusian units that have been captured. And let's go over to the strategic display. So there's the big view. Now we'll go ahead and move on in. So we had this, I believe this is, what are these? Okay, so these are brigades. So we had these brigades along with that headquarters. They captured, they successfully moved in and cleared this city. So that is under, that unit's actually inside the city. So captured that town, captured that city, and these are all Belarusians here. Belarusians also successfully moved into and cleared Białystok, I guess is how you would say it. Again, I don't speak Polish, so I'm definitely wrecking the names. I'm sure I am. The Russians also, now this group here, they were here. They tried to, they had some combat and they were not successful against this brigade, so they had to retreat. But the Russians were successful in capturing, moving into and clearing the town of Elk. These two clearing operations were unsuccessful, so if you're unsuccessful, you just stay there. You've got the clearing markers on top there, and you can tell, you know, you can see that's a 5 and 6, so it's a little bit harder. When you have, so if you notice that we have some mechanized infantry and some motorized infantry. If you have leg infantry with mechanized or armor, then clearing operations become easier just because it's the whole combined arms idea taken into effect, that we've got light infantry or leg infantry supported by a mechanized force, and that's kind of the way combined arms operations work. They don't dig too deep into the weeds, but that's kind of the way it is, or the way it works in this game system. We've got the Poles here. We've got this several brigades here that are gonna eventually are gonna plan on moving in. We'll see if that happens. Basically, the Polish NATO side is kind of delay and retreat as long as possible, because you can see there's not a lot of units on the board for the Allies. The Russians definitely have a lot of units when it comes to force. Successful clearing operation conducted here. Successful clearing operation conducted here. Unsuccessful clearing here, which is actually good news for the Poles, because one of the victory spots on the map, if the Russians can get units here, if they can get units here, and if they can get units here, then the Russians will gain more victory points. I think if they hold all three of them, then it's an automatic victory. I don't remember. I'll worry about that when it gets a little bit closer. But you basically have all this stuff up here, which is going to push west, and there's not a lot opposing them right here. If you can see, basically there's one headquarters. There was a headquarters here, which got eliminated, and then I reconstituted it. But as long as these guys are clearing that spot, they're kind of stuck there. You can see these strike markers. Part of the Polish plan is to blow up these bridges, which will hopefully slow the Russian advance down a little bit more. So hopefully by the time these guys get done clearing this urban area out, these bridges will be destroyed. And I use cruise missile strikes to hit these bridges this time. And I don't know if I really like... See, I wasn't successful because I needed destruction, right? So a cruise missile strike is basically, in the book it says it's approximately 10 cruise missiles every time you use a cruise missile point. Or it's about the equivalent of 10 cruise missiles for one cruise missile point. So I used one cruise missile point on each one of those bridges. Now, you know, we've seen videos of like the initial attack into Iraq and all that kind of stuff where we're taking out their bridges. Because that's part of the U.S. plan, right? Is like, you know, we need to slow your supply down. So we'll blow up your bridges so that you can't get supplies in. And, you know, just what we saw off the news, it looks like cruise missiles are pretty dang effective. Well, I didn't get very effective results. And I would think that, you know, hey, if we send 10 cruise missiles at a bridge, that's pretty much guaranteed that bridge is out. So I don't know if I'm 100% sold on cruise missile strikes on bridges. If you have an infantry unit here and we're next to the bridge, then your chances are way better. So if you have men on the ground, and I was a combat engineer, and that's what part of our job was we could blow up bridges. I never did it, never got to do it, because we use cruise missiles nowadays, right? Because that way we don't have to get guys on the ground. But if you get infantry dudes here, then you can blow up the bridges. And your chances, your die rolls are actually better if you have guys on the ground. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, we'll see how things played out. You know, it's a game. I can always modify it to suit my needs if I need to. But will I play it that much? Who knows? So, yeah, we've got those bridges getting blown up. And eventually, we'll see how the battle shapes up, but I've got that bridge that I could probably blow, or the bridge that I need to blow. That bridge. There's a lot of bridges, as you can see. That bridge right there. You know, if the Russians get close, we've got a bridge there that we might want to try to take out. But again, it's going to be difficult. So we'll see how that works. We got reinforcements, Polish reinforcements coming in over there. Yeah, that's a stack of reinforcements. So we'll see what happens. You know, it takes a while for NATO to get mobilized, and so that it's up basically, as you can tell by the operational display. The Lithuanians, the Latvians, and the Estonians really aren't doing a whole lot. They have really big stacks of chits that look impressive on paper, but they kind of got steamrolled pretty bad. So we'll see how things go. That's basically the end of turn one. And it's not looking good, but we'll see. The Soviets have a pretty good lead. You know, maybe the Poles can dig their heels in and stop the onslaught, or at least hold them off long enough for a couple of American units to get in. And I mean, there's a couple on the map, but they're not really enough to do a whole lot. So hopefully I'd like to see I get another turn done by the weekend, but we'll see, because I know the turns take quite a bit, especially the air phase. That's what really bogs the game down, and it bogs it down in a good way, at least for me. I know that there's the basic and the intermediate and the advanced air rules, and I prefer the advanced. So everybody's got their own preferences. But so there you have it. I finally got off my rear end and got behind the table and finished some more next warp Poland. And I know there's 2 or 3 of you out there that have probably been like, hey, what the hell is Sean doing? So that's what I've been doing, man. I've been working and playing a lot of video games and finally got some next warp Poland. But anyway, everybody out there who's actually going to see this and hear it and watch it, have an amazing day and be amazing. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.